In May, President Donald Trump announced Operation Warp Speed, a federal program aiming to deliver 300 million doses of a safe, effective vaccine for COVID-19 by January 2021. Deputy Director Dr. Julie Ledgerwood gave some insight as to whom they're targeting in the vaccine trials. As these trials are seeking to enroll volunteers from diverse populations, including minority populations at higher risk of COVID, a population that, according to John Jacobo with the Latino Task Force, is apprehensive about a vaccine. So there is some sort of concern I'm hearing from you of those essential workers, minorities feeling like the guinea pigs. That's right. That's right. And we heard that when we came in the first time to do our testing with UCSF back in April. We absolutely heard people say, we don't want to get tested, and then we're going to be the ones that we're going to be the guinea pigs for potential vaccines to test them out. And we assured them that that's not the case. It's up to individuals to make the choice that seems right and feels right for them. Latinos, Blacks, and Native Americans have been disproportionately affected by this virus.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors being to the elders, the apostles of Green Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel brought lifting up the stern of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Astaki and Mahaloya coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying. This is from the elder brother, I think his name is Adama Salakia, not Amos, but Adama from Boston Camp. He uploaded this different clips on how he is trying to basically pinpoint Jake, and they said it in a particular order: the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which we know as the Israelites. Okay, you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the 12 tribes of Israel, and they know that, and this is the reason why they're targeting you with these particular jabs, so to speak. So, like we've been saying, and we've been prophesying for some time now, that you were going to be the fault of this pandemic. At first, it came from what they call Wuhan, China. Then all of a sudden, somehow, when it came to America, then all of a sudden, now you're the problem. But I thought it started off in Asia somewhere. Which this is all planned out. It's just all pre-written and pre-trial ran. But it was already from the jump start that they were going to make you, you Israelites, the face or the new enemy or the face of this particular pandemic. Okay, that's why the brother titled "The Hunt Is On." Now, he didn't really do a commentary to it, so I'm just taking it upon myself through the Spirit. Lord's will, he'd be okay with me using this footage, which, I don't see why he wouldn't be, because it's all for pushing the gospel for the elect's sake. And I just wanted to, put a commentary to it, because this is something that brothers have been heavily focusing on and been going through thoroughly through the Spirit, and is very relevant for the biblical prophecy, for end time prophecy. So we're going to go into it. But basically, you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you can say that Jacob's trouble was pretty much here. All right, because this guy, what's his name, Cuomo, brought it out. He said, look, we're that close into, getting this particular medicine ready. We're that ready. We just need a couple of months. Him and a few more people in Congress and then, the hierarchy of the government stated that just a little while longer, we're going to have this particular thing ready for you. So you Israelites, man, you're getting ready to suffer a heavy penalty, because a lot of you are going to say, well, I ain't going to take it. But then you're going to get threatened. When they threaten to take your children and take away your goods and your homes and your jobs, you're going to likely reconsider. And I'll say that because you're not going to have the Lord on your side to basically strengthen you in that day, in an hour of temptation, which this vaccine, we highly believe and know through the Spirit that it will be followed by the RFID chip. It's all setting up to go hand in hand with the pushing of the mark of the beast, which is the chip. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to play a little bit more of this video, and I'm going to interject from time to time, and we're going to go into some very valuable precepts. Lord's will to be edifying. Here we go.
Making race also a main deciding factor when choosing subjects. Everybody has really been very clear that they want this racial ethnic distribution to be taken into strong consideration. So we're hoping that that will happen. For now, hope is what's keeping the world's top experts working around the clock. Hope to find a vaccine and hope for an equitable distribution. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization announced it will have a finalized allocation plan by the end of this month, with or without a vaccine. In San Francisco, Luz Peña, ABC 7 News.
Deserve to get this vaccine first. And from there, you want to do tiering in various countries to make sure your most vulnerable populations get it. In our country, that would be blacks and Native Americans, people with underlying...
See, you got to ask yourself this. Why the hell all of a sudden they care about you? When it comes to social economic status and, political regimes and getting businesses off the ground, you're never mentioned. But all of a sudden, to put some potion in you, now all of a sudden, now you're the most important thing in the world. That should right there tell you that's a setup, man. And anybody that believed what these people are saying, you deserve exactly what you're going to get. Because I know when in hell that you've been beating the hell out of our people for 500 plus years. And all of a sudden now you want to save them. Don't make any sense, man. This goes back into the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. And we can get that too. But Esau said, then I will slay my brother Jacob, because he was supplanter of the birthright. So the key is to get you out of the way and to destroy you the best way they know how. Even if that means sticking something that's not feasible towards your DNA, to wipe you out. So ask yourselves that question, Jake, and be sincere with that. What have they ever done for you besides falsely promised you and made up lies and false promises and empty promises just to put you back to sleep just for this particular time we're getting ready to enter into? When have they ever helped you? Because later on in the interview, you're going to hear that Pill Bill or Kill Gates, he basically owns, not him, Kumo, he's basically stating that, well, look, we need to get these people inoculated. We need to do so. You're going to hear him say that. He going to say that, well, the white counterparts ain't being affected like the black counterparts. So why you think that is? That's not true, all right? Because it's a proven fact that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have more superior genes to Caucasians. That's been proven. And this is why they're coming out with all these viruses and stuff like that, to destroy us, to break us down, because we are the stronger race. Okay, we can get over things, we can immune to things quicker due to our DNA, and on top of that, us being melanated. But think about it this way though. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being targeted out of all the people of color in the world. Why you Israelites are the ones that they're targeting? Hamites, they have pigmentation, they're people of color. East Indians are people of color. Arabs are people of color. Even Asians are people of color. But they didn't mention none of them, but they mentioned you. That right there tells you that this is something fishy and this is something sinister. And the question is, what you gonna do about it? You gonna bow down, or you gonna get on board and learn his faith? Time will tell.
Health conditions and the elderly. And so we need to look at, as a globe, and we're involved with many European leaders and African leaders and others in Southeast Asia, to make sure there's a purchasing fund that can pull that vaccine through when it's available and get it out in wide-scale distribution.
What would you say when people ask you, how are the first 100 million doses going to be distributed?
Military.
Well, I would tell them that the discussion on how to do that started out with ethics and equity. Now, you and I have been on committees before, scientific committees, and we oftentimes start with the science. And then when we have come to some conclusions on the science, then we address the ethics and the equity. This group started with ethics and equity and developed a framework. And then they asked the question, with individuals, what is their risk of getting the virus? What's their risk if they do get the virus of being sick, hospitalized, dying? What's their risk of transmitting this? And what are the things that could change this, like the ability to use a mask and so forth? And from that, then came up with the criteria of who should go first. I think one of the big surprises, people expected, since this is a disease that is hurting minorities more than others, people thought we would come up.
But where's the proof in that? Where's the proof in that? Because I haven't known anybody that really caught anything. Here and there, but they recovered from it. Even if it was that, it may not have even been that. It could have been allergies or a heavy strain of the flu, because I believe they do have something out here. I believe it is something in the food and the air. Well, I'll take that back. I ain't going to say technically it's airborne, but it's some chemical whether it's in the food or the drinking system or what, because if it was airborne, then you would see a lot of people getting sick, and you don't really see that, you know. So if it is airborne, it's not to the point that people are getting ready to drop dead, but I do believe they're going to release something that's going to be deadly, because nobody's speaking on this black plague that was last found in Colorado a few months ago. Why did that disappear? But yet they're focusing on C, you know. So I do believe they're going to release something, but I believe they need to have people to take this punch or this jab first in order to kind of get them more vulnerable to these particular attacks, man. And I think people just going to start dying, man. All right. I believe they're going to release the real deal, and people are going to start really dying from this. So that way they can be justified to see, we told you, you conspiracy theorists said that it wasn't true. No, E. We got the playbook on what you're going to do, bro. We got the cheat codes. We know how you move out here. Okay? You're very predictable. You're not as crafty and cunning as you thought you once were. All right? Because the Lord has exposed you in your tyranny. All right? So anyway, let's get a scripture real quick. I don't know if this goddamn phone keeps... I gotta get another phone, man. It keeps losing storage relatively quick. But anyway, let's get the book of Genesis 27. And let's start at verses 41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Okay, so this is what this is all alluding to. Going back to the birthright from Jacob and Esau. All right, Esau was supplanter of the birthright, and he feels some type of way about it. It's bigger than, oh, black people hate white people. It's bigger than that. That's just a surface scratcher. It's deeper than that. It's spiritual. And it says here, it says, in the words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said it to him, behold, thy brother Esau is touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. All right. So basically, she told him to run, go flee to Laban. Okay, because Esau, he had a blood lust for Jake, because he felt that he was supplanter of the birthright, which in fact he sold it. Can't be mad at nobody but your damn self. And to be honest with you, you were already rejected even before you were Esau. That's how the Lord set it up. So be mad with the Most High, man. Which technically you are, because you're coming against his people. You're like, I can't touch the Most High, I'm going to touch his people. And that's going to be your biggest mistake. Because the Lord is getting ready to rain down hell on you devils, man. Each and every last one of you, from the smallest to the least to the greatest of you. You're getting ready to get the judgment of the wicked. All right?
What's the risk of transmitting this? And what are the things that could change this, like the ability to use a mask and so forth? And from that, then came up with the criteria of who should go first. I think one of the big surprises, people expected, since this is a disease that is hurting minorities more than others, people thought we would come out with minorities as the first group to get the vaccine.
And that proves with the Israelites, because if that's the case, that's the curses too. Because the scriptures say we was going to be a sickly people due to the curses. But like I said, Africans are people of color. They're melanated. Arabs, East Indians, Asians, they all have color. You got Asians that's dark as Michael Jordan, man. You got East Indians that's darker than Wesley Snipes. Why aren't they the problem? And this allegedly originated from China, Wuhan, China. It's kind of strange if you ask me, you know.
With minorities,
according to you people, what do we
do
know?
not say that. We instead say the problem is not race. The problem is racism. And that if you look at the problems, individual problems, the individual risks of people who are in minorities, they're like the majorities also. And there's a whole list of them, but there are three of them that are really at the top of the list. That's heart failure, kidney failure, and a body mass index over 40. So what if you aim at those things? And then you look at what are the social vulnerabilities, not just the personal vulnerabilities, but the social vulnerabilities. What does it mean to live in a crowded house, 3 generations in a house, inability to work from home, every day having to take a risk of facing the virus, having problems with transportation, school children coming in and out. And so we said, let's look at the risk factors and make those the decision point for getting a vaccine rather than saying race.
So essentially, these devils, instead of saying race, they're gonna classify you as low income, not able to do certain things. So they're just trying to use semantics to change the name up.
Nations coordinating with the CDC and other agencies. They indicate that the first group of people that should get the vaccine, if and when it is available, are people at the greatest risk. And that includes everything from nursing homes to people with serious pre-existing conditions that would cause people to be in real trouble. A lot of those people happen to be black and brown.
See, don't you get it now, Jake? Don't you understand that you're the target, bro? You're the target, man. When you stupid, dumb Negroes gonna wake up and see what it is. These people are not your freaking friend. They're not your savior. Boy. You tell them this and yet they still blind. That's okay. Lamentations 4:17. It says here, as for us, our eyes as yet fell for our vain help, and watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us. You're looking for these devils to come through and liberate you from your condition. How can somebody that puts you in a condition intentionally be the ones to liberate you from that? Especially when nothing has changed. If anything, they hate you more than what they did. They just can't outright show it because you got certain laws like affirmative action that's put into place, and discrimination suits that you can actually win, But nonetheless, that doesn't change their hatred for you, Edomite, for you Israelites, man. And you gonna find out the hard way. And it says here, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go on our streets, and our end is near, and our days are fulfilled, and our end is come. And our persecutors are swifter than eagles of heaven, and they pursued us upon the mountains and laid wait for us in the wilderness. So, hey, they said right here, man, they hunt your steps. They're trialing you. They're going to set up task force. They're going to send military police in there. They're going to have senators. They're going to have church people, motivational speakers, whatever it's going to take to get you people to lower your guard and accept this madness. Even if they have to pay you, like some senators was talking about, let's give them $100 to go down there and commit suicide, basically. Basically, they putting the gun in your hand and say, look, we'll pay you to pull the trigger. How the hell you going to fucking use the money if you dead, man? Damn, that's crazy. But you can't tell a Negro nothing, man.
Be black and brown. And so it would be based upon the degree of exposure. It would go first, though, I would argue, but I have a scientific board laid out for me. It would go first, as laid out for me today, to first responders, doctors, and nurses. The people who we're most needed to have available to deal with our crises, health as well as physical crises in our communities.
Black in America, you're twice as likely to die of COVID-19. Yet researchers are seeing a disproportionately low number of Black volunteers for vaccine clinical trials that could save lives. Ron Allen takes a look at what's happening.
Today marks a major milestone in the nation's fight against COVID-19.
In Savannah, Georgia, Dawn Baker not only anchors the news, she made huge headlines herself last month. She was the first volunteer as part of a phase 3 clinical trial in the U.S. to get injected with a potential COVID-19 vaccine. The final step before a drug can be approved.
You've had 2 doses. Yes, yesterday, Monday was my second dose.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. I had the
No side effects.
my arm was sore, similar to when you get a flu shot.
Her private doctor for 30 years, who's involved in the study of a drug produced by Moderna, asked her to do it.
Had to make sure that it wasn't a live virus and that there was no way that I could get COVID-19 from being a part of the study.
After seeing so much suffering due to COVID, especially in the African American community, Baker stepped up.
I've had friends who've lost very close relatives, people that I know. I've also had some friends who have passed as well from COVID-19.
See, they paid this bitch to say that, man. Alright? That's one thing about you sellouts, man. You niggas that say anything for a buck or anything just so Esau can mention your asses, man. That's why the worst, our people are the worst. When you think about it, our people are completely the worst, man. They have no integrity, they have nothing. The only thing they know is how to sell each other out. you know, and wish ill will on each other. That's all you Jakes do, man. And you wonder why you're the most hated group and why nobody wants to deal with you for real. Look at what you're doing to each other. You're basically propagating evil on your people. You're forcing that evil on your people, man. Speaking that somehow, I know people that get out of here. I haven't known nobody that's succumbed from this shit yet. And if they did, it's probably some other underlying stuff that they got going on, man, that they failing to tell you. You know, like one of my coworkers was telling me that his auntie was in a car accident or something. His cousin found out like she committed suicide or something like that, and she was diagnosed with this, you know, with this stuff. So that shit don't even make sense, man. You know, but hey, you Jakes, man, you people are nuts. This is why this is happening to you. This is the Lord really doing this to you. Lord, he ain't gonna let us succumb to this because we're so fervent about bringing it out. You know, you people, you believe in it. You know, which we not saying that they ain't got nothing they gonna release on you people, but you people are completely out your goddamn minds, man. To let this man that's been hating you for thousands of years tell you that this is what's best for you, when he clearly knows what's not best for you.
So it kind of makes sense to me that, you know, instead of just being afraid, how was I going to be a part of the solution? She's got
plan that intentionally burdens communities of color to hinder access to the vaccine.
Now they care about you that much, right? They don't, man, please.
Deprives those communities of equal protection under the law.
The governor promises legal action with help from the NAACP and Urban League if the plan isn't changed. He says New York State will mobilize an army of faith and community-based groups to help vaccinate people. David lives in Manhattan.
I appreciate living in a state that actually takes care of things and takes care of their people.
At a time when families are looking forward to Monday, going to school, and not having to switch to a lesson.
The truth is, COVID killed black people in this.
And that's the sorcery right there. They keep saying that. That's the ploy. That's the slogan mark. You keep saying that, it becomes believable. And once that's drummed into your mind, it's a ritual, man. It's the repetition. That's how people learn, through repetition. You keep repeating that, then, you know, you got them. Jake keep hearing that shit, and you got some Jakes out there that ain't stupid, man. Some Jakes like, man, yeah, right. We already know we ain't nothing but human experiments. We're basically test dummies, test subjects. You know why? Because you're the Israelites. You got some Jake that really know that, man. But these old heads out there, man, these people that have been water hosed and sick dogs on them and attacked by KKK, you motherfuckers ought to know better, man. You already know that this ain't no good for you. A lot of you had family that fought out there in Vietnam and Desert Storm, and had family members, men that died from that the shit they was testing them with, injecting SARS in them and everything, man. You ought to know better that you can't trust this man, you know. But what do we know, right?
Country at twice the rate of white people. The truth is.
Now, why are they so protected? Why are they not? And it's known that they're more susceptible. They're recessive in nature. They have recessive genes, so they're prone to sicknesses. How the hell you think viruses got in this country? It wasn't by people of color. Because if that was the case, the natives would have been dying from particular colds and flus and so forth before Esau even came over here. Which proves that's a lie. Okay? Esau is more susceptible to catching diseases, man. Fuck you think hair lice is? That's a parasite. Who got it? Esau, not Jake. But yet, they're the ones that's unlikely to get it, when all the people that so-called affected were Edomites. They just telling you stupid, dumb niggas that because you can go in there for a broken leg and all of a sudden they say, oh, well, you got C. And you would believe that shit, man. And then you fuck around and be sick for real because you put too much stress and thought into it. These devils are protected. Why? Because that's their people. Can't you see now?
COVID killed Hispanic people at 1.5 times the rate of white people.
And that's a cut for you all black Israelites to say the Hispanics ain't Jake. Why they being targeted too, then?
The rate was 2.5 times higher among black and Hispanic people. And the hospitalization rate for black and Hispanic patients was over 3 times higher compared to white facts. COVID low tide showed that.
Nah, motherfucker, you an ugly fact, man. I'm talking about those ugly facts. You are the ugly fact, my mans. All you and your whole degenerate race of people. You're all the problem here. And the Most High's getting ready to eliminate you parasites for good. That way you don't contaminate this planet no more with your presence and with your evil and with your folly and your wickedness. I'm sick of looking at you, man. You're our bosses, you're our teachers, you're our doctors, you are lawyers, you are judges. You're all the shit that you ain't supposed to be. But that's getting ready to end, Bobby.
Existing health disparities in this country made it more likely that blacks would die from the virus. Black populations are 1.7 times more likely to have diabetes, 1.4 times more likely to have hypertension.
Why is that? Because you put the shit in the food and target them. You study Jake and know what would throw them immune systems off. You know what type of poison to put in our foods to destroy us. You know what to put in there. So yeah, our people are affected at a higher rate than other people because you give us the worst supply of food. Let's just say you got what's called zoning restrictions, right? Redlining, all right? Let's just say if you got an Aldi's on 63rd and King Drive, and let's just say if they gentrified all the way from 62nd and Calumet all the way to 62nd and Langley, and that became Edomite area, and they set up an Aldi's on the other side of the tracks to divide up. Don't you know that the good supply of food will go to the gentrified area and the bad food will stay in a slum down area on the other side of King Drive? So yeah, our people are suffering at a higher rate from gout and diabetes because you give them the poison. You put it in the foods, man. It ain't because our immune systems are weaker. You did that by design. Everybody knows that. All right?
1.3 times more likely to face obesity and 3 times more likely to have asthma. Those are the ugly facts. So now the vaccine is on the way. Great news. But the big question now is, who gets the vaccine? How is it going to be distributed, and will it be equitable, and will it be fair? The Trump administration is designing the distribution plan, and their plan basically has private healthcare companies administer the vaccine, hospitals, big drugstores, doctors' offices, etc. It sounds fine, right? But hold on. We know that our black, brown, and poorer communities have fewer healthcare institutions.
It's not necessarily true. They might not have access to affordable healthcare, but there's always a clinic in the hood. Shit, you always go to the penis doctor, the dick doctor in the hood, man. It's all around. They like churches, man. You go anywhere and get checked out. So don't give us that psychobabble, bro. You already know. Man,
their communities are too often healthcare deserts. That's why we have more underlying conditions, and that's why the COVID death toll is so high for black and brown communities. We're not going to make the same mistake again, period.
See how you just pretty much brainwashed everybody? You put that witchcraft on them? Be stupid if you want to, Jake, and believe this shit. Be stupid.
Majority black zip codes are 67% more likely to face a shortage of primary care doctors.
Jake don't go to the hospital because Jake don't trust it. You know, Jake don't trust it. The only how you gonna succeed on Jake is when you start threatening them and making them afraid, because they gonna do this through fear. They gonna push fear. This is the big boogeyman right here. They gotta push fear in the earth. And that's exactly what they gonna do in the form of this military, because they know most people are gonna buck up against it. So like, all right, we got something for you. We gonna pull them guns out on you. And you know how Jake, he so want to save his life here. He don't want to die. If it's the possibility that he can still not miss out on a paycheck or some type of hoping to make it in the NBA or rap game, you know, or next drug dealer, Jake ain't gonna waste his life for this. He gonna continue. He gonna sell it out. He sell out to live. That's why Yahweh Shai say, those who lose their life for my name's sake should find it, and those who try to save their life should lose it. So a lot of you're going to take it because you're going to try to save your life, but you're going to lose it in the process, man. You know?
Yes, and Walgreens and national chains, sure, but they are mainly located in rich communities, not in poor communities.
Get the fuck out of here. I stay up the street from a Walgreens and a CVS, bro. What are you talking about? I don't live in a rich neighborhood. I stay in a probably lower middle class area. I don't live nowhere. Ain't nobody around me rich. And I got a Walgreens, I got a Hy-Vee, that got a pharmacy in it. I got a Walmart, that got a pharmacy in it. And I got a CVS with a pharmacy in it, man. So what are you talking about?
My friends, we can't compound the racial injustice that COVID already created. Brown communities that were first on the list of who died cannot be last on the list of who receives the vaccine, period. We cannot and we will not let that happen. The Reverend Dr. King, who's being a black man in America isn't easy. The hunt is on.
You're the prey.
And you're the prey.
Woo-wee. Sirach 12 and 10. Beautiful. That was going to pull that. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Can't trust a damn thing they telling you, man. You'd be stupid to believe anything they say when they've done nothing but spread lies to you your whole life. Telling you you're black, that's a lie. Telling you you're Native American, that's a lie. Telling you that you're Hispanic, Puerto Rican, or Mexican, that is a lie, okay? It is a lie, and more lies. How can you believe it now, Jake? So we're warning you, man. And, you know, that way you can't go to the Most High and say, well, nobody told you. No, you've been told. You've been told every day, all day. All right? Now the ass whooping comes, because you're going to blatantly reject what we're saying. You know? Anyway, Psalms 52 and 2, it says, thy tongue devises mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. It's all deceit, man. It's all ploy to kill you. All right? That's the hatred they have for you. They want to kill you, man. You know? It says here, it says, and thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. That's right. It says, and thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Okay? That's these talking heads out there. So be stupid if you want to, Jake. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Shai. And with that, Shalom.